Spring is in full bloom, and today we're making baskets full of Easter fun. Nothing says Easter like a cute, festive basket, and I've been itching to try out a few different styles. One from craft foam, one from burlap, and one from twine. So let's get planning! We're going to try these from simplest to most complex. First is the craft foam basket. These were inspired by ones I've seen made out of felt at Target. We'll need craft foam, glue, and markers or pens. Super simple. Next we'll make a burlap version. I'm hoping the burlap material will give it a more woven look. For this, we'll need thin cardboard or cardstock, burlap fabric, and glue. The coiled rope basket is the most complex, but it's still pretty easy. We'll just be wrapping colored twine around the frame of the basket. This one also needs thin cardboard or cardstock, fabric, thread or twine, and glue. Let's get to it. These foam baskets are super simple and so cute! Let's make a cute little chick basket. Since we'll need matching sides, let's sketch out a template first. There we go. Kind of a gumdrop shape. Then we can just cut this out. And then we can use it to make two matching shapes on our craft foam. You could also use felt for these, but I think the stiffness of the craft foam will work better. And since the only foam I have is adhesive on the back, I'm actually going to stick some felt to it. Very sticky. There we go. So now we have felt on one side and foam on the other. Let's trace our template. Two times. It's easiest to decorate them while they're still flat, so let's grab our markers and add a beak. Just a little egg shape. And some happy little eyes. Maybe a couple feathers on the top. little more orange than I intended, but maybe it's a rooster comb. Now we'll just cut them out. And you may want to be a little careful if you're using washable markers not to smudge the ink. Now we'll need to cut a strip of craft foam to connect the two sides and another for the handle. Now we can take our body piece, mine is about probably 3/4 of an inch wide, and we're going to glue it around the outer edge of the basket. And we can trim off, whoops, the excess. And then glue on the other side. And there we have our little cheeky basket. Now all we need is the handle. And we can just glue that right inside. And I'm going to glue mine with the felt side out just for a little added texture. There we have our little chicky Easter basket. Isn't it cute? And if you're not confident in your own drawing skills, you can always use a sticker or a printable and stick that onto the foam. And as adorable as these are, let's try something a little more baskety. Burlap baskets and the rope baskets will use the same internal structure, we'll just be adding different materials on top. We'll start by tracing a circle onto some thin cardboard. This will be the bottom of our basket. Now we'll cut this out and a strip that's going to go around the edge for the sides of our basket. So now we have our bottom, our side, and a couple of thin strips that we can stick together to make a handle. Now we can use our burlap, I have this bright pink one, to cover both sides of our circle and both sides of our side strip. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to run this piece along the edge of the table to get it curved so it'll bend around the edges of the circle. I'm not sure how smart that was to do before I glued it down, but either way, now it's time to cover it in the burlap. Now that the top and the sides are covered, we can add glue around the inside edge And then, using the bottle we used to trace the circle, we can wrap the sides around the bottom, overlapping the ends. And then keep it in place while it dries with a rubber band. Making sure everything is straight. There we go. And since it'll be drying upright, it'll have a nice flat bottom. For the handle, we'll stack and glue together these thin strips of cardboard. If our glue will cooperate. While they're still wet, we'll bend them around our jar to get the handle shape that we want. And let them dry. Now we can take our dry handles and some threads from the burlap, since burlap loves to unravel. And I am just going to dip this on here a little bit, maybe. Add a little bit of glue both sides. And then start wrapping burlap around. Making sure it's really in that glue. And I can take that off and just keep going. Making sure it's scrunched down. And adding a dab of glue every so often. Now that our basket is pretty much dry, we can just trim off this little bit there. we can glue in our handle. Put it in where we like, and it's got enough tension to hold itself in place. There we are. Isn't that sweet? And that burlap texture really makes it look like a woven basket. Actually, let's see if we can add a little bow from more of those burlap threads. Doubled it over, tied a little bow. So cute. Now we'll just add a dab of glue. So adorable! All right, let's move on to the most complicated one of them all. The rope basket starts the same way as the burlap basket, with a circle, a side strip, and 2 small strips for the handle. This time, however, we're going to take fabric and glue it to only one side of the bottom and only the top and inside of the side piece. Now that we've got that done, we can add some glue to the back of our circle. Put our thread, the end of our thread in the center, and very slowly start to coil it around. This is probably way too much glue. And we'll just keep going around and around until we get to the edge. And when you get to the end, just add a little glue. End of the thread, snip the end of the thread, there we go. And there we have the bottom of our basket. So we'll set that aside for a bit to dry. Now we can take our handle piece and just like before, we're going to wrap it with our material. Get it into shape. And there we have our handle. Now that our bottom is dry, we can go ahead and attach our sides to it. If this darn glue will cooperate. I just realized I put that on the wrong side. I want glue on the inside edge. And that is the edge. That's the fabric. That's okay, we'll need glue on the outside too. Just not yet. Again, I'm going to stick our bottle inside just to help form it correctly. There we go, and then again, I'll use the rubber band to hold it in place while it dries. Go. And we'll just set that aside. Now that our basket is dry, we can take off this rubber band. Find the end of our string. And we're going to start wrapping string around the basket, just like we did with the bottom, all the way up the side of the basket. Now we could keep going all the way around until we get to the top. But I'm going to leave just a little bit of this fabric showing. All the way around. Now I'm going to add in my handle. So let's see. I think that's a good length for the handle. We'll just leave it as is. So just like before, we'll add some glue to the outsides of the handle. There we are. Now we can leave it just like this and it is perfectly, absolutely fine. But I have had this lace in my stash for absolutely ages. So we are going to add a little bit of lace. Just going to make it a little shorter to make it a little easier to add. A little too long. I'm just going to trim a little more off. Alright, so I'm going to add glue to this inside edge. This probably would have been a little bit easier before I added the handle. And of course my glue's being stubborn. I need a little bit of glue. I'm just spreading it around. I'm going to take my lace. Is this the one? And tuck it in. Same thing on the other side. Oh, except my handle isn't quite dry yet and fell over. Now I want this edge of the lace to come just over the edge of the basket. So I'm tucking it in just low enough that that edge peeks out over. There we go. Now I'm going to give it a few minutes to dry. Okay, now that that's dry and stable, we're just going to, don't need to snip that side, snip just a little bit of the lace right where it meets the handles. So that we can fold it down over the edge. Is a little stiff because of the glue. There we go. We'll have to clean it up a little bit, but that's okay. Slipped right out of my hand. I'm just going to trim this bit off. Just a little too bulky for that spot. There we go. And there have our lacy Easter basket. So cute. So, now that we have all of our baskets, the only thing we need to add is just a little bit of Easter grass. I've got some paper grass here. We're just gonna cut some little bits. Fill up our baskets. Actually, I've found that rolling it up in your hand a bit really works a lot better. It's a lot fluffier. And you don't get little strands everywhere. And for these smaller ones, having it in a tighter ball really helps a lot. Tuck it in there. So cute! And there we have our Easter baskets. And the dolls are all set for an Easter egg hunt. I am blown away by how well all these turned out, and how easy they were. Now all of our dolls can be ready for whatever Easter throws at them, be it chocolate bunnies or colorful eggs. Thank you so much for crafting along with us today. I'd love to see what you come up with, so tag us over on Instagram at PlanMakePlay. I'll be adding this and all our springtime crafts to our April crafts playlist, so don't forget to check there for anything you missed this month. Keep planning, making, and playing, and see where your imagination can take you. See you next time!